my friends. So hope you're having a good Tuesday. I did a song last night, B.J. Thomas song. I hadn't heard it for a long time. I just lost the title. Oh well. Anyway, check it out. You'll see. Okay. Hey, because I'm trying to hold on to this other title thing in my head. I'm not multitasking very well this morning. Lies that you believe about God. Lies you've been told about God by Paul Young. And it's a book that I just read. And so for all of my, friends out there that, searching and wanting to know more answers and stuff, he's the one that wrote the book, The Shack. And so, yeah, Paul Young. And it's a good book. Our little church just read it. And my online church, if you will, that I can never get to. I've only been there once in person, and I showed it on video. Anyway, they have read it as a church, and they're doing questions about it, which I think is really cool, to be able to do that. I've got something cooking, so I might have to go and interrupt myself again. Anyway, I wanted you to check that book out if you get a chance. I think you can get it online, Kindle, Amazon. It's not very expensive, really, and it's a quick read, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of your time, but very thought-provoking. And, like I said, our whole church is talking about it and discussing it, which I think is just, I like when churches, do that, engage everybody. And have, discussions and comments and stuff like that openly. Trying to find the page that I was on where I stopped, which is, I believe, 52. If I am correct. 52, yeah. Okay, so okay, so. And we were talking about deeper things that flow sequentially into a more outward one, ultimately into what is outermost or final, which is where they find presence and permanence. They not only flow in from simultaneous whole on the outmost level, in a particular design, is why our deeper elements are held in connection and are stable. Deeds or works are the final forms in which our deeper elements exist. So being being repaid and judged according to our works is being repaid and judged according to everything that pertains to our love and faith, or our intentions and thoughts, since these are deeper realities within our works. So the outreach is to heavenly communities if our dominant love is made up of loves of heaven, but it is into hellish communities if our dominant love is made up of loves of hell. So being selfish and thinking of yourself only, and not thinking of others, putting yourself first in all things, that will lead you to the hellish sides, if you will. And, I have to sometimes catch myself. Why am I doing this? What's the real reason? Am I searching for self-gratification? Am I looking to gain something by this? And if so, what? I'm always analyzing, not always. Sometimes it takes me a while to realize what the heck is going on, I'm not very sharp on the uptake sometimes. And because I'm scatterbrained, I got a lot of things going on, perhaps. The nature of my job, I just have all these things going on. And so, I don't know. anyway, but it sometimes just takes me a while. Yeah, but I eventually get it, you know. Sooner or later. I think we all do. Anyway, and then okay, so our so be aware of that, because one can lead to the other, and you go to your loves when you leave this world, and you're not tethered. I think Lorna Byrne calls it a golden, there's a golden string that tethers you to each other, to your love, to the earth. That's why when you hear of people saying that they left their body, but they keep feeling like they're getting pulled back in, it's because there is this this golden thread that holds them to their body until they finally, do die completely. And that means either their heart has died or their breath has left them completely. So, because those two things are tied to heaven, okay? I know some of my Christian friends are just going to go, what is she talking about? I can just hear it now, although that's okay. Some people just look. I as soon as I heard something in church that just did not ring true with my heart and soul, that's when I decided that I was no more going to rely on any man or person to tell me what God wanted to share with me, or what he has shared with the world through the Lord, through his word, and through other people. And so I wanted to find out for myself. And I've done a lot of study, and I've taken a lot of time to read and go through many, many things. And I've got a head full of knowledge and trivia. And, so anyway, that's just me anyway. All right, so Swedenborg says, so what I've said so far, though, is addressed only to our rational thought in order to present the matter to sensatory observation. I should like to add some experiences that may serve to illustrate and support the claim that first, we are our love or intention after death. Second, we remain the same forever in regard to our volition or dominant love. Third, we come into heaven if our love is heavenly and spiritual, and into hell if our love is carnal and worldly without any heavenly spiritual dimension. Fourth, our faith does not stay with us unless it comes from heavenly love. And fifth, love is action, and therefore our life is what remains. Interesting, because I've heard some other things too where people have said, well, they went to hell, and they didn't stay there very long because they realized they made it up themselves. Yes, it's their intention, their desire was there. As soon as they realized that's not the kind of thing that they wanted, they were out of there, okay? And I've heard that many times from people, especially lately. Boy, our winds really are kicking up outside. I hope that Minnesota is doing okay, and the people going through the nor'easters and all those heavy weather, you're on my mind and in my prayer. And I hope that you're doing all right with these. Yesterday I came home and I was just so livid with these airplanes spraying the skies again. Heavily spraying our southern skies. Just ticked me off. Oh. But try not to put out, try not to. Really having a struggle with it, big time. Okay, so a great deal of my experience has testified to the fact that we are our love or intention after death. All heaven is differentiated into communities on the basis of difference in the quality of love, and every spirit who is raised up into heaven becomes an angel. It is taken to the community where he or his love is. When we arrive there, we feel as though we are in our own element at home, back to our birthplace, so to speak. Angels sense this and associate their with kindred spirits. When they leave and go somewhere else, they feel a constant pull, a longing to go back to their kindred and therefore to their dominant love. This is how people gather together in heaven. The same applies to hell too. There, too, people associate according to loves that oppose heavenly ones. On the fact that both heaven and hell are made up of communities, that they are all differentiated according to the differences of love. Okay, and then again, if you wanted to read, what love is, again, you go back up and read. But we may also gather that we are our love after death from the fact that anything that does not agree with our dominant love is then removed and apparently taken away from us for good people. What is removed and apparently taken away is everything that disagrees and conflicts with the result that they are admitted to their love. It is much the same for evil people, except that when it's taken away from them is everything true, while for good people everything false is taken away. Either way, the result is that ultimately everyone becomes his or her own love. This happens when we are brought into our third state, which will be discussed below. Once this has happened, we constantly turn our faces towards our love, have it constantly before our eyes, no matter which way we face. All spirits can be led whenever they want, as long as they are kept in their dominant love. They cannot resist, even though they know what is happening and think that they will refuse. Spirits have often tried to do something in opposition, but without success. Their love is like a chain or a rope tied around them, which they can be pulled and which they cannot escape. It is the same for people in this world. Our love leads us as well. It is as though our love that we are led by others. It is even more so when we become spirits, though, because when we are not allowed to present a different love or pretend to a love that is not ours. It is obvious in every gathering in the other life that our spirit is our dominant love, to the extent that we act and talk in keeping with someone else's love. That individual looks whole, with a face that is whole, cheerful, and lively. To the extent that we act and talk against someone else's dominant love, though that individual's face begins to change or dim or to be hard to see. Eventually it disappears as though it were not even there. And I've often been amazed at this, because this kind of thing cannot happen in the world. However, I have been told that the same thing happens to the spirit within us, in that we turn our attention away from someone. That individual is no longer in our sight. I have seen that our spirit is our dominant love from the fact that every spirit seizes and claims whatever suits his or her love, and rejects and repels whatever does not suit it. Our love is like a spongy, porous wood that absorbs whatever liquids prompt its growth and repels others. It is like animals of various kinds. They recognize their proper foods, seek out the ones that suit their natures, avoid the ones that disagree. Every love actually wants to be nourished by what is appropriate to it. An evil love by falsities and good love by truths. I have occasionally been allowed to see that some particular simple and good people wanted to teach evil people things that were true and good. Faced with this teaching, though, the evil people fled far away. And when they reached their own kind, they seized on whatever falsities suited their love with great delight. I've also been allowed to see good spirits talking with each other about truths, and other good spirits in attendance listening eagerly, while some evil ones who were there paid no attention, as though they did not hear anything. And I'm going to stop there. So anyway, very interesting stuff, and I'm hoping that it's enlightening you and helping you along with your Bible readings. So do please remember to read God's Word and take time out to meditate and pray and be with Him for at least a little while in your life during the day, even if it's for a few minutes. Okay, God bless you. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye.